I am here today at the San Diego Bay National Wildlife Refuge. It is a very important place to Southern California, but you wouldn't know it if you were in the city. It's surrounded by shipyards, military bases, and all other kinds of urban development like freeways. And right in the heart of it all is a space that is dedicated to conserving wildlife. And today, on this episode of Words on Wildlife, I'm going to show you how and why this place is so important to modern conservation. Let's go. I've done a bit of work out here in the Bay Area or the San Diego Bay Area. I don't want to be confused for San Francisco, which I'm looking forward to getting to at some point. I've done a lot of work here in the San Diego Bay Area and the refuge space here. And something right at the bat I'd like for you to understand is that this is not just a park. We do get plenty of schools that come through the area, though. And this is because, especially for school systems here in California, we want students to understand that these wild spaces, even inside the urban side, we want students to understand that even inside urban spaces, that there's room for wildlife. So we bring kids inside the wildlife refuge. We show them what is here, and then we encourage them to also want to protect it as we are. Something I want to show you is over here. Keen eyes will recognize this plant as agave, but not just any agave. This is Shaw's agave. It's an endangered species here in the area, and this is mostly due to habitat loss. I often love to show kids this plant because often when we think of endangered species, we're thinking of animals, not necessarily plants. So whenever we show the kids this plant, we're like, hey, this is an endangered species. Let's try to protect it. If for no other reason, because of how beautiful it is. It's surrounded by San Diego sunflower, or bush sunflower. I believe that's right. Bush sunflower. Once you're out here long enough and you spend enough time out here, you get to recognize the plants pretty well. Actually, I found some bush sunflower with some petals on it. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that there's some pollinator here as well. Very cool. Now here, I'd like you to notice while we're on the path, this right side and left side. What you'll notice is that on the right, you see a lot of plant diversity. Multiple different kind of plants, very densely packed together. And then on the left, things are a lot more sparse. And that's because on the left, we have this very invasive plant here. Now, I'll be honest with you folks, I'm more of a feathers and furry individual. Not individual, let me say that again. I'll be honest with you folks, I'm more of I know more about your furries and your feathers, not too much about plants. But what I do know about these particular invasive species is that when they come here, usually through human activity, they're going to compete with other native animals and native plants for resources. That's what an invasive species is. And so as you saw on one side of the path and the other, the Wildlife Refuge and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that maintains the space is trying to limit the expression and amount of space that the invasive animal takes. And so another reason why these spaces should be protected is, well, we want children to actually have access to this and learn more about these spaces. In my time working in conservation, I've found that a lot of children, especially children who live, especially children who live in cities, they actually don't get access to a lot of nature. I mean, I live within 20, maybe 15 minutes of a beach, but a lot of the children that live here in San Diego, specifically south and southeast San Diego, they don't get access to the beach, or rather they don't get to go to the beach as often as someone like myself or are older, right? So by having the refuge and having programs that allow children to spend time in nature during field trips or during the summertime, I take that as a net positive. All right, so I'm here at the San Diego Bay National Refuge. Is that right? Okay, that's right. That's the San Diego Bay Wildlife National Refuge. Bit of a mouthful. I wanted to show you this plant. This is called pickleweed. What's really cool, by the way, unless you know exactly what you're doing and what you're touching, never eat wild plants. I know for a fact that this is pickleweed. And what's really cool about pickleweed is that it grows near salt water, whether it's the bay just across the way there or marshes. And how it survives is that it is what we call an extractor. It's going to drink up that salt water just like any other plant. Now, unlike other plants, the salt in the water doesn't bother it. In fact, in these little berries here, if you look closely, this plant has this gradient of green to red. And what's really interesting is that the green parts, you don't really want to eat that. That's just gross. But the red parts, this is the good stuff. Tastes like pickle. And that's because it is extracting the salt from the water and it stores it in this part of the plant. So if you're ever on a hike near the San Diego Bay and you find this plant and you're looking for a salty treat, well, there you go. Honestly, above all else, the most important thing about spaces like this and wildlife refuges near cities, especially on the coastline, is that these marshes, these wetlands that are so close to the ocean, they actually help cities like San Diego protect itself, or really just protect the city from itself, because San Diego sits on a watershed. And what a watershed is, it's a landmass, a natural landmass, where high elevations such as mountains and hills, basically hills out here, when the water from those areas like lakes or maybe even rivers come through the city or through wild spaces and they reach the ocean, these marshes and wetlands are actually filtering out all the gross stuff like carbon runoff and all that excess nitrates that's coming from our pollution. And it prevents it from going into the ocean where we eat our seafood, where other animals live, and also where we swim. I don't know about you, I really like going to the beach, and I would hate the idea of going to the beach and there's a bunch of trash there. So we need these spaces to essentially protect us from ourselves. I also like to say that when you go to the beach, when you go to the lake, whenever you're going by bodies of water and you're bringing food with you, even when people aren't looking, please pick up after yourselves. This is not just always, this isn't just because it's a good habit for yourself. This is also because it's just good courtesy for not just the other people who may share the space with you, but also the wildlife. Because when your trash ends up in the water, or if it ends up in an animal's mouth, it just can make them sick. And that's just not being a good steward. You want to be a good steward when it comes to wildlife. Now, something I have to remind myself is not everybody can travel. Not everybody can go far. Not everyone can visit these places. But here's the good news, is that no matter where you live, whether it's rural or urban, honestly, you don't have to travel across the world to protect wildlife. You don't even have to go to your next neighborhood. Advocating for the spaces you live in right now, as you can see right here in the city of San Diego, you can do that. But you can also do that in your local rural communities too. Go to your chamber of commerce, go to your representatives, and you advocate for wild spaces. Like for San Diego, go speak and advocate for your wetlands. Go speak for your rainforests. Go speak for your grass fields, right? Because if we don't create space for wildlife here, they're going to further encroach on the spaces that we share. And as we've already talked about, humans and wildlife, when we butt heads, it often means bad news for the animals, not necessarily for us. And as I've emphasized, being good stewards to the world and to nature is the responsible thing to do. Hi again. I'm just getting started. Just getting started. Not yet. It's called LaDaryn Lockett. Look for Words on Wildlife. Words on Wildlife. Words on Wildlife.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Thank you again for doing this. So I'm here with
Rosa Cisneros.
Rosa Cisneros.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to approach you because I saw that you're here today, and I wanted to ask, what do you like about the area?
I like the area because it's very peaceful. I believe it's a good place for anybody to learn about animals, about species, and it's peaceful at all. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Something I was talking about earlier is how this is a very much needed space because we're near the city. You can even hear the city noise behind us. But I like how you just point out that it gets you away from that. And I don't know if you knew this before, that this used to be a gunpowder factory. Did you know that?
I just read it, actually.
Yeah.
I just read it. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Do you feel that if we never tore it down, like I feel like this would be missed, wouldn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Do you come here often?
Actually, I was here about 30 years ago, but it was a very small aquarium.
Oh.
I used to bring my nephew. Now he's 30, and he was 1 year old when I brought him here for the first time.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then now it's a lot bigger, and they made a lot of changes now.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm new here, so I moved here 2 years ago, and I'm only just getting more familiar with the space. So it's good to know that it's expanding. I understand U.S. Fish and Wildlife, they've been doing a lot of work to maintain the area.
Yes. So like they have the new hotel now, did you see? And the new trails?
No, I didn't.
This is a new hotel. They just opened about 6 months ago.
Okay, and you're a San Diego native?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So the hotel being here, the wildlife refuge being here, I imagine someone who's always been here in San Diego, you would probably agree that this needs to be here, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. I ask this because I feel like some people don't care about wildlife in the spaces. Me personally, as an educator, I think that it's important for children to be. Yeah. Any other statements on that?
Did you notice there was a lot of children from
school?
school?
Every day.
Yeah, I love it. I love the way schools bring the kids here to learn about wildlife, and then just to come in here and enjoy San Diego. The weather.
We're
supposed to be in winter, and look at
it's
the
winter.
weather.
It is January.
Yes.
What is today's date? The 5th?
16th.
January 16th, and it's like 80 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Hablo un poquito español, pero mis conversation en español is elementary, so lo siento.
That's great.
I'm going to try to work on my Spanish more.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you very much. All right. Check. So I am here with
Jackie Flores.
Jackie Flores. Thank you for sitting with me. So you were just saying that you came here because you just visit your mother, is that right?
Yes, my mom is at the hospital. She's in a very difficult time, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
for me it was amazing that I crossed the border to be here.
Oh, that's great. So
Yes.
I'm assuming Mexico?
Yes, she's in Tijuana.
See, Tijuana. Okay, very nice. Well, I hope she does well. So thank you for sharing that. Coming over here, what made you come to the wildlife refuge today?
Well, like I said, I was going to cross the border. I called somebody, and she say, "Oh, we're going to walk," and I said, "I need that."
That's good.
And
A walk
it's
is good.
beautiful. This area, so beautiful, so
It is.
relaxing.
It's so relaxing. It's quiet. It's relaxing. You're near the water. You get to have the animals nearby. So it sounds like you would agree that this is a place that needs to be here.
Oh yes, it is. It is. I live in San Diego for the last 24 years, and I'm so impressed that I haven't been here ever. It's my
Really?
first time.
So
and I was asking one of my daughters,
Uh-huh.
and she said, "Mom, I don't remember going to that place."
So having been in both United States and Mexico, what is Mexico's approach to conservation, like spaces like this?
In Ensenada, there is a very important university for biological, and they do that conservation.
great.
But it's in Ensenada. Best tacos of the fish tacos of the world.
That's saying something. Okay. All right, because since I moved to San Diego, I've had a good fish taco. But you saying I need to go to which state?
Ensenada.
Ensenada. Okay.
1 hour, you cross the border from Tijuana to Ensenada.
Is that worth the pilgrimage to get a fish
They
taco?
are the best of the best.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. I hope you all enjoyed that field trip at the San Diego Bay National Wildlife Refuge. Be sure to check out your own backyard to see what's out there and explore. And be sure to come back and see me next Wildlife Wednesday for more words on wildlife. Until then, take care.